Hi, it's James Martell here. Welcome to session number 12 of the Affiliate Marketers Super Bootcamp, Building a Winning Website. We're going to have some fun today because we're going to get to put this website together. And of course, it's been a little bit of probably a long haul for some of you if you've been doing this for the very first time. I can assure you, though, that once you get your head around it, you can do this very, very quickly. And with the help of some freelancers and some professionals over at Elance, of course, that'll help you a lot to put the sites together. So also, I'd like to welcome those of you who are listening to us as a recording. It's always nice to have you. Of course, be sure to pop into the chat forum if you have any questions and join us, all of you, for the twice a month live Q&A in the online conference room. Of course, we hold that on the first and third Thursday of every month. All right, so now we're going to dig into Step 7, Building a Winning Website. Desired outcome: at the completion of this step, you will have added your website graphics, set up your website pages, and completed the configuration of WordPress. In the prior session, in the last couple of sessions, it was a two-part series, Fast Tracking Your Business with Outsourcing. We had a chance to open up the master plan and post our projects and get those projects evaluated and awarded, and then we set up the milestones and funded the projects, and we worked back and forth with the contractors for all of them, and then any changes that were needed, we had a chance to request those, and then on we went, and now we have that content hopefully on our hard drives. So in this step, step number 7, building a winning website, we're going to get logged into Elance, and if you don't have that content, I'll show you how to download it. We're going to get into the back end of your WordPress website by logging into the dashboard. We're going to upload the header graphic. We're going to dig into the master site plan so we can set up the pages. We're going to need to have the optimization worksheets handy because we're going to set up the product reviews, the how-to guides, the blog posts, the images, and then we're going to configure some plugins and some widgets. And although this is a very long presentation as far as the number of slides goes, there's something I think in the order of 244 slides in this presentation. You'll find this is going to go really quickly because although this is a meaty session with lots of graphics, what we're actually going to do here can actually be done really quite quickly, and it's in my opinion, it's probably the funnest part of the whole process because all of the work that we've done up to this point has been simply preparing everything, so now we have a website to construct. So real simple, baby step number 1 is we're going to get logged into Elance, and what we want to be able to do here is download the content that the contractors have given to us. And if it happens to be the graphic designer, you want to download your header graphic and all of the thumbnails, and of course also the written word that was developed by your writers. You want to download that as well onto your hard drive, and you'll find that that's typically, they usually send it to you in a Microsoft Word document. So baby step number 2 is to simply download those projects. So most of them will attach the completed work to the message there. So that little message box you see there, they just, of course, you probably just open that up and you'll see there's the header graphic. And same for the writer. The writer will just be a Word document attached. And it's literally right mouse click on it, click Save Link As, and then put it into your or download it into your computer here. And one thing, if you aren't comfortable so much with filing, you want to take a few minutes to basically set up a filing system if you haven't already. You'll notice up in the graphic here, I've got everything under My Documents, My Clients, because we're building this one for Peter, and then Peter's name. And then within Peter's folder here, we just have a couple of other folders called Documents and Images. And I just put everything in there. Now I always know where it is, so if I need to refer back to it, of course we've got a backup copy of it in Elance, but I also like to have a copy of it on my hard drive. So once we see that, we just open up, in this particular case, a little Images folder, and then we just actually change the file name. Because it's an image, I like to give the image a nice little keyword phrase, so I'll switch it from what the graphic designer called it, which was in this particular case was just kind of a gibberish. It didn't really say much, to actually giving it some keywords. So it says solving dash backpain dash HDR, which is just a little abbreviation I use for header. Okay, so solving backpain header. Then we just click on the little save button there, and then now we have it on our computer. So there it is there. So now I know where it is at all times. And then I just go back and I grab all the thumbnails as well. Now I have everything in one place. I know where it all is. And same goes for the documents. Just go ahead and do the same thing. Download that Microsoft Word document into your computer so you have it as well. Baby step number 3 is to now log into the WordPress dashboard. And I know I asked a question on in the last session how many people have already worked in the WordPress dashboard, and I was pleasantly surprised to see just about everyone. So that was great. So not a lot of uncharted territory here, but because this is a StudioPress theme, you may not have worked with a StudioPress theme, and they all are put together a little bit differently from one theme provider to the other. So I figured I'd get into some detail here and show you where everything resides, because it can be a little frustrating sometimes to try to find some things. The other thing that we're doing with this session that we didn't do in the other session, because this session is going to be something that I would suggest you're going to have open in your browser when you're building your website, so you can play the video a little bit and do the work, and then play the video a little more and then do the work. But we're also going to time code everything for you, so you can actually skip ahead within this video tutorial here. But we want to get logged into the WordPress backend here. You can see the file path to it. So it's just whatever your website address is / wp-login.php. So / wp-login.php if you're having trouble finding it. And then we just go ahead and log in, and in we go. So this is the dashboard. Of course, all of you know it's pretty darn simple to use. They've done a fabulous job of organizing it. It's very intuitive, and once you get used to working around in here, it's easy to find things once you learn where they are. So what I want to do now is in baby step number 4, just to kind of get started here, and we're actually going to upload and we're going to add all the content to the site in this session, and or at least one page each. We're going to add of course the header. We're going to add a review. We're going to add a how-to guide. We're going to briefly go through the blog, because it's exactly the same process as the how-to guide, and then we're going to set it all up and configure it. So we'll start off though with baby step number 4, uploading the header graphic, which is a very simple thing to do. Simply mouse over the appearance link over in the left-hand column, and you'll see the little drop-down that will appear, and there's the header link. So simply click on that, and then you'll land on a page that looks just like this. And now you can choose the file. So we need to go grab the file off the hard drive, and again, here we are back under Peter's folder here in the images folder, and there's the file path that or the file name, the file that we just downloaded. So we just click on that, and then we click the little open button down below, and what it does is we hit that upload button, and then automatically it'll upload the header into the back end here of WordPress. So you can see though, if you take a little peek, there's a few things you want to do in here. Number 1, right up to the top left-hand corner of that header, you can see there's some text in there. It's basically the website, my blog, and then it says insert your tagline here. We don't actually need that, of course, because we've got the graphic. So we can literally select that little no button down at the bottom, that little radio button, where it says display text, no, and then we can click on save changes, and then that will remove the text from the overlaying on that header graphic. So very simple to do. Then we can simply click on visit the site, and now we have a header graphic. So that'll take you all of about 3 minutes to do if you're dawdling. So it's really quick and easy, as you saw there. So if you're watching this on the video and you want to just go through that again, you can just rewind this a little bit and watch it again, and or just go ahead. It's pretty simple stuff. Moving on to baby step number 5. Now what we want to do is we want to get that master site plan opened up. again, and I'm sure all of you have that very handy. And you'll see why it's going to be a good thing to have now, because now we can start to pour the content into this website. So one of the things we need to do is add up all those pages, all of the agreements pages, into the site. So what we just simply copy the privacy policy in full, and then we can move on to baby step number 6, which is to now set up each of those pages. So we have the terms of service page, we've got the privacy policy page, we've got the disclaimer, and the disclosure page. So we'll just show you how to do that with the privacy policy page, because it's exactly the same process for the balance of the pages there. But you can see simply, again, mouse over the pages link. And for those of you who are new to WordPress, there's 2 types of pages. One that they call posts, and the other one here that they call pages. And the basic difference between the two is a page is more of a static page, a page that doesn't change. The About Us page, the About the Editor page, all of these agreement pages would be static pages that are not going to change or be updated, and we're not going to be continually adding to them like we would with a blog post or a how-to guide or a review. So for these types of pages, we want to be focused on adding a new page there over in the left-hand column. So we just quickly click on the Add New. We can add in of course, the heading there. We can paste it as plain text, and that's a good thing to point out. And if you want to be careful you don't miss this, because depending on where your article was created in Microsoft Word or maybe even Google Documents, there's a lot of invisible back-end coding that you can't see that ends up getting all mixed up with your HTML. So if you just simply click on, right mouse click on the WYSIWYG editor here, what you see is what you get, editor, and then click on paste the text. That will clean out any of that coding, and then it'll just come into your system and it'll be nice and neat and tidy. Sometimes you'll have the paragraph breaks already put in for you, other times you won't. And you'll have to put those in. We'll show you how to do that in a little bit. All right, but there's a nice clean text in the system there now. I just deleted the heading there because, of course, we have it up at the top. And then there it is now. So now we just want to take a few minutes and do a little bit of light formatting. Alice says, can you put it in Notepad first and then paste it into the site? Yep, that's actually a good thing to do as well. But this also mimics that. That does basically the same thing. It turns it into text. So you can actually skip that step now if you paste it in as plain text. All right, so now we just want to highlight one of these, these subheadlines, and then we can just hit that little drop-down box at the top up here where it says paragraph, and then just come down and select heading 2, as you see, and you want to do that for each of the subheadlines, and now that'll make those subheadlines, or get those subheadlines set up properly. And you want to do that instead of just bolding it, because the designer actually designed the size of the headlines for the particular theme, and sometimes there's color in there that the designers added. So definitely use the H2 and the H3 tags to get those looking really, really good. Of course, we'll scroll down a little bit, and I'm a big stickler for good formatting. I cannot stand sloppy formatting. It just drives me crazy. So this actually here is a Microsoft Word bullet. It's not an HTML bullet, and I would like it to be. So I just highlight the text there, and then there's a little bulleted list up here, just like you'd find in Microsoft Word. Simply click on that, and now it's indented it, and it's added the real bullets. Now there's those 3 bullets still there, so you just want to take a second and delete those, and now you'll have a nice clean ordered list there. And then you can see there's a little hyperlink link there. Typically we name our Contact Us page as far as the file path goes, just contact-us. And if you didn't, you'll need to go have a look at what your Contact Us page address is. But typically it's usually just contact-us. So you click on, first of all, you highlight the text. Then you click on the little link at the top there. And then the little box will open up. And then you just paste in /contact-us/ and then click on the add link there, and now you've got the little link all embedded there. As you can see, the little blue, click on the blue hyperlink. Then you can simply click on the publish button there and move out to the view page link at the top, and now you can go out and have a look at, you just published your very first page. And you can see it's nice and neat and tidy, it looks good. There's, you know, the bullets are right, the subheadlines are there, we've got the little contact us link. Of course, you want to click on it, make sure it's working, scroll down to the bottom of the page, make sure everything's good. When you're happy with it, put a bow on it, and you're done uploading the first page. Now you just want to repeat that for the other pages as well, being the other agreement pages. All right, so if you had the tech or hired a tech at Elance to set up all your pages, you'll want to go in and actually double check that, because he may have already set up all the pages for you. In my case, that was true. So all of them are here, they're all empty, there's no content on them, but they're all sitting here. So instead of clicking on the add new, there's a right directly below the pages link here. Right in this here, let me get my little cursor turned around here. There we go. Right in this area here, you can click on all pages, because I would assume all of your pages are already there because of the spec that you gave to the writer was already set up for him to set these up for you, to mock them up, and now you'll be just simply coming in and adding in the text, so it'll be even quicker for you than what we just did. All right, so baby step number 7 is to now open up your optimization worksheets. Which is exactly what I did here. So get that the optimization worksheet open, and then if we move down into the product review, that's where I'd like to start, by adding a product review. And if you recall, when we put these optimization worksheets together, we took all the time back then to to come up with the file names, to figure out what the title tags were going to be, of course the primary keyword, the secondary keywords, the tier 1 and tier 2, the alt tags, and all of the little items that we need to construct these pages properly. And I think you'll find, because you took the time early on to do that, this process becomes much quicker, and it's a little less fly by the seat of your pants, because it's all been thought through, so you're going to have a much higher quality page. The SEO should be top drawer. All right, so keep that handy. So as we move into baby step number 8, set up your product reviews. We'll get back into the WordPress dashboard, and now this is where we add the posts. So you can see we mouse over posts in the left-hand column. Then we can have a little look at all posts, because I also had a tech at Elance install everything for me. So now all of the posts are already sitting here ready to go. I just need to now change the headlines and add the text and the file paths and all of that type of stuff. So let's begin by working on product review down at the bottom there. We'll click on edit and open that up to a blank page. Now we're working on the Teeter Hangups inversion table. So the product is the Teeter Hangups inversion table review of the EP 550. So we'll head back over in here now, and what we'll do is we will first off change that little file path there by clicking on the little edit button to the right, and then we'll update the file path to actually say the Teeter Hangups inversion table review. And you can see now there's dashes in there, so Teeter Hangups inversion table review, and we of course pulled that directly from what we determined earlier. All right, so once we've done that, we can then just simply click on the little OK, or this will turn to OK. Once you've edited it, click OK, and then that's done. You'll want to make sure that we have the little reviews box checked over in the right-hand column there, or review, whatever you've called it. That's the category that this review is being published within. We can then select the little box there, because I like to have my reviews go full screen. with no column, so no column at all in the reviews. Every other page I leave the right-hand column in place, but when it comes to a review, I like to go with just the full width with no columns. We select that little box down at the bottom there. And then, of course, we can add the tags. You don't want to forget the tags because, as we talked about quite a number of sessions ago, tags are really the new way to categorize things. Yes, you can still categorize it in the more of the menu type of a system where you've got categories that cascade down. But really, tagging is a much more granular way to go. So just take some time to figure out what your tags are. A lot of cases you'll find that your tags can simply be your Tier 1 and Tier 2 keywords because, of course, they're perfectly on topic. You know they're in the document because we had the writer include those when they wrote the article. And you can see the ones I selected was teeter hangups, reviews, tables, hang-up, back pain, and inversion therapy, because that's exactly what this review is about. Once that's done, we can scroll down a little bit, and again, we can grab that title tag from right out of the optimization worksheet. And we've got a little box down at the bottom here where we can add in the title tag there, teeter hangups, inversion table review. I don't have, when I took this screenshot, I didn't yet have the meta description. I do now. It's now been added. And if you recall, in the writer spec, in the document we gave to the writer in the master site plan, we actually asked them to write that for us so that we don't have to. And it's really kind of a quick way to do it because they just wrote the article. They know far better what it's about, and then they can write the article, or sorry, the meta description there. Then when that's done, you can come up and hit the publish button if you'd like. And then that will, basically finish, with the exception of adding the actual content itself, the SEO value is done. Because we now have, let's pull that back, we've got the title tag, we've done the tagging, it's in the proper category, we've got the file path, the title tag, and all of that's done. Now it's just simply a matter of let's go get the document and import that into, or open that up in a Microsoft Word document. Here's the actual review itself. And you can see, we can just simply copy that, and then we can just take it in here, paste it in. And here's an example where the paragraph breaks were not put in. So we have to just, just go down the page with your cursor and open them up. So you've got the breaks in there. And there you go. You can see in this particular case, if you recall, in the master site plan for this product review, we'd actually found a video. So I figure this is a good opportunity for those of you who haven't ever embedded a video on the page. This is a good time to do that. So you can see that's a little YouTube video there. She's just given me the link, and it says, Teeter Hangups is the only brand to meet the UL safety requirement. Learn more about the Army's use of Teeter products in this video. So there's some credibility there, which I like to include in the review, of course. But let's go over to YouTube. First thing I want to do is just highlight if you've got the YouTube link there on a page, maybe you found one as well, you can simply copy that, open up a new browser, head over to YouTube, of course, paste it in, and there's the video. And if you're not aware, you're actually, in most cases, you can take videos from YouTube and post them on your site. All right, so there we go. You'll notice a little share button there. We click on that, the little box opens up, and now there's a little embed link, which is you click on this right here, and that opens up what you see there. So now we can customize this video a little bit, and we can select the different sizes. You can actually put in a custom width. So if you want to measure it out, the size of your page, or play with it a little bit to get the full width. But also you got the defaults, the 420 by 315, 480 by 360. I ended up selecting this one to begin, and then later on I came back and I reorganized a little bit with a custom width. So, but to begin, we just grabbed, we just clicked on that little button there, and then we copied and pasted that code above, and then we headed back to the page. Opened up the HTML view, because this is where we want to be working here. So, because that's coding we're going to install there. Scroll down the page to find where that YouTube link was. and then we just basically want to delete that and give us an extra space there. And then right in this area here, we're going to now paste in that code we just gathered up from YouTube. And paste it in that spot there. And head back over to the site now, scroll down a little bit, and now we've got that video embedded right on the actual website. Now they can come in here and just click on the play button. They don't need to go to YouTube. It'll play directly within the player here. John says not all slides are visible. Are some of you having trouble seeing these slides? Can you give me a little heads up on that before we progress a little bit? Sometimes it might be a bandwidth issue somewhere between where we all are. No trouble. I'm good. Sorry about that, Mac. It might be a bandwidth issue. Of course, it'll all be caught on the video, so you should be able to see everything there. All right, so there's a nice addition to the page. And then we scroll down a little bit, we're done. So the page looks great. And in my particular case, I've gone through the page and I decided to tune it up a little bit. I've seen that the title here is Teeter Inversion Therapy in the Army, and I figured I'd just add another headline in there above it just to make it stand out a little bit more. And of course, you're always going to be tweaking and working on these pages, and we'll be measuring conversion rates and various things. But of course, we want to get it as best we can first time out the gate. And I think it looks great. So you can see it's sitting there, and if we go back to the home page of the site, we've just added the first review to the actual website there, or sorry, to the actual review. All right. You'll also notice as we progress through the training, I asked the writer to give me a better headline than what you're seeing there, and by the time you get through this presentation today, it will be on the screen for you here. Alice says, do you have to link back to YouTube? No. Nope, you don't. And the little features that I grabbed within the system there, within YouTube, where I was grabbing up the code in this area here, you'll notice I'm using the old embed code, and then all the other boxes are not selected, because if you select that box, at the end of the video it's going to give them some suggestions for other videos to watch. But then when they click on it, then they'll take them to YouTube, which we don't want to do, of course. We want to keep them on our site and move them through to the merchant. So good question there. All right. Okay, so now moving on to baby step number 9. And that was actually, before we do that, that of course was baby step number 8, where we set up the review. We will revisit that in a few minutes and come back in and add the images and do a few other things on that page. It's not quite done, of course, but we'll get to that as we progress through this session today, because we have a whole area on adding images to these pages as well. All right, so now the how-to guides. Here's a how-to guide that came in. You'll notice there's the little description she wrote for me. And she's got the primary keyword in there, which is inversion table therapy. She's got a little bit of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 keywords in here, and she did a real nice job on it. This is the actual how-to guide itself. So again, we just simply want to copy that, and we're just going to basically repeat what we just did with the review. So copy that, head back into the All Posts area. This time we want to find one of those how-to guides. So right there, how-to guide number 1. We'll click on the little edit button there, open that up, and let's first off grab that description meta tag, and then we'll head back over to the page here. Scroll down a little bit, and you can see there's a plugin that you've all had installed called WordPress SEO by Yoast, and I like to use it just to keep us a little bit SEO friendly. We definitely want to write for the visitors first, but we also got to be cognizant of we have to organize the page in a SEO friendly manner. So this little free plugin really helps you to do that. So we'll first off though, we'll paste in that description meta tag in the box provided there down at the bottom. I've already added in the SEO title tag for you there, and then you can see it's built it all out with is going to be previewed in most cases in Google. So there's the what we you typically call, there's a little headline. If you picture the Google results as a set of classified ads, there's a nice little headline. You've got the description meta tag directly below it, right in that area there. So that's looking good. And then this area here is where you want to take the primary keyword that the page is focused on and inset it there, because we want to get as many of these to turn from no, the red no's, to a green yes. So I've added in the little keyword there, the primary keyword for this particular page. We'll head back up the page a little bit, and what I'll do is I will click on the update button, and then we can scroll back down the page to see how we did. So let's go down. Here we go, page updated. And then down the page a little bit, and now we've got your focus keyword was found in your article heading. It said no. The page title, page URL, content URL, and meta description. And then I went back in later and added it, because the headline that originally it said sciatica. Actually, no, I didn't add it. I just left it out in the headline and I put it in the title tag. Sciatica relief, how to find it with inversion table therapy. I have found that you don't have to have the exact phrase in the headline. In fact, I've got many articles that don't have the primary keyword in it at all that rank just fine. But if you're uncomfortable with that and you want to add it in, you can easily go back up to the little box there. And I just changed what it had said from how to find it with inversion therapy. You could just slip in the little keyword table in there if you'd like. So up in this area here, right there. So you can see it, sciatica relief, how to find it with inversion therapy. I mean, it would be easy to just put the word table in there if you'd like. But in my case, I'm perfectly comfortable with it and would see no problem getting this page ranked without the exact phrase in there. All right, so with that in mind, let's go out and have a little peek at the site. Now, of course, this is the how-to guide. So what we've got here is the column. Where the review, there was no column. With the blogs and the how-to guides, I like to put in the column. Try to get that out. And now you can see it is shown up down here on the bottom left as one of the how-to guides. So now we've got a review and a how-to guide. And of course, then you just repeat that process for the other two how-to guides, and then you'll have all three of them sitting there for you. All right, so it's starting to look pretty good though. There she is there. All right, so now in this next step, what I want to do is take you through really quickly, because it's the exact same process as the how-to guides. Baby step number 10, how to set up your blog posts. So again, a real simple process. It's just a matter of repeating what you did with the how-to guides. I see there's a great question there from Chris regarding the adding of content and having the entire page show up in the category list. And let me point that out as we move through. You've had a couple of answers there, both of them right on. You need to add a little more tag in there, and I'll show you how to do that once we get to a screen where I can do that. So the baby step number 10 again, set up your blog posts. And I won't go through the details of it because it's exactly the same as what we just did. So the same thing you did, again, with your how-to guides, just repeat that for each one of your blog posts. And be sure to take the time to add in those H2 tags and to properly format everything so it looks great. Again, if we head back over to the home page of the site here, you'll see that now we have some of these starting to show up. And the how-to guides are all in. I've actually added in that other review as well. So the front page or the home page is starting to fill in nicely there. Which moves us on to baby step number 11, because now we have the reviews uploaded, we've got the how-to guides uploaded, and we've got all of the blog posts uploaded. You notice we took the time with the SEO as we went. We don't go back and do that later. Same with the tagging and stuff. Make sure you do that as you go. I like to try to get the page finished as far as all of that, all of those little items as I go, because sometimes you'll forget and you won't go back and you'll miss it. So I like to do it all as we go. All right, so now images. Images is an interesting thing because now we can start to bring some more life into the site. Of course, the header graphic with Peter's smiling face up there is a great thing, and that's one way to start to show there's some people here. Another one is to start to add in some images of products and people and various things. So picture really is worth 1,000 words. And you'll see this is the review. This is the inversion therapy for back pain review. This was the one I said was going to have a much nicer headline, and I requested the writer to give me a better headline. Originally it just said Teeter Inversion Table Review. So now it's inversion therapy for back pain, rapid relief with Teeter hang-up, so a much stronger headline. Same with this one here, banish back pain, spinal decompression made easy with the New Backs Trio. All right, so that's important. So now where do we get the images? It's always a question we get, and it's a good one. And can we use images directly out of Google Images? And the answer to that is yes and no. First thing, typically for the product reviews or any blog post or even how-to guide that I'm talking about a specific merchant's product, I will first go over to their website and have a look at the images that they've got, because they don't mind. I've never had an issue with a merchant having a problem with me using one of their images ever in over 13 years here. So I don't think that's a problem. So you can head to the page where they're selling that product. You can also look through the site to see if they have a gallery, see what kind of images are available for the product. And in this particular case, there's some. There's one. It's not a bad image. Down the bottom of the page here, there's some additional images here. But these ones don't expand. That's the size of them. So for me, they're a little too small. I'm a big fan of putting big images into the review pages as well. So I think that is a good way to go. I actually can thank Doug Scott for giving me that idea, because that's what he does. And when I saw it, it's like, yep, that is a great idea, to put bigger images than normal. All right, so we can also, of course, head over to Google Images. So if you're not finding what you like on the merchant site, or you want additional images that you don't have, in this particular case, the manufacturer, the Teeter Hang-Ups company, has all kinds of images with Google Images that you'd have no problem using at all. And you can see some of them, they're just the generic Teeter hang-up, the inversion table there. There's a few of them there. Now you got to be careful that you're not using somebody else's images. If it's the manufacturer's images, I don't think there's a problem. If there's any concern about that, you should get in contact with them. But they're in the business of promoting this, and if you flip through the Google results just for this topic alone, you'll see there's thousands of images that are manufacturer images, the same images that you find on their website. The nice thing about it is, though, some of them are larger. So even though on this site we got these little ones down here that are just kind of scrunched up, I found some much larger ones, as you'll see in a moment, within the Google Images. So you can have a good look through it here. You can also, what I find to be very helpful, is if you use these little tools down the left-hand side here, any size. If you're looking for big images and you want to just give me all the big ones you've got so I can see what you have, then you can just sort them by large, medium, and then the other types. I think they give you large, medium, and any size are really the ones that you want. So click on the large, have a look around, see what's available. I did that. I clicked on large, and all of a sudden I found, as you mouse over them, they'll give you the actual dimensions of the image. So have a good look around, take a peek, see what you can find. There's what looks like a little image there. So if you mouse over it, though, or click on it, you'll see that this is a very large image. It's 1,500 pixels by 1,500 pixels, which is pretty good size. Way too big for the page. But if you have a way to resize it, and WordPress does have a tool within the system where you can resize images without having to go to an outside piece of software, you can just use that tool, which I will show you how to use. Or if you have a tool such as Snagit, which I highly recommend, using. You'll find, just do a search on Google for Snagit. Absolutely great little image editing tool. It's about 50 or 60 bucks. I use it 10 times a day, I swear. And I couldn't live without it. It'll allow you to do things like erase that. Let's say you copied that image and you want to get rid of that little little eraser tool. So it's basically image editing for dummies. So if you've never done any image editing, you should grab that software, and then you'll, for less than the price you'd spend to a graphic designer for an hour or two, you can now take care of all of this little stuff yourself. All right, so what we want to do, though, once we find an image that we like, we can simply right mouse click on it, click on Save Image As, back into the Peter Woodhead folder here, into his Images folder. You can see we got a bunch of gibberish as far as the file name goes. So let's take a moment and just tune that up a little bit. Now it's called the Teeter Hangup EP550 inversion table. And then once you've adjusted that, you can simply click on Save, and now it's on your hard drive. So now what we want to do is add the image to the actual page. And if you've never worked with images here, you want to watch this, probably take particularly close attention to this. So we're now back on the page. We'll click on Edit the Post. And you can see I've put the little cursor right in there left of the header, left of the subheadline there, Teeter Hangups Review. So I just clicked in that little box. Now I'm just going to click on that little icon right there, which will pop open a box where I can now select that image. So you can see it says Select Files. There it is there. Just click on it once and then click on Open down on the bottom right. So very simple to do. And there it's now imported into the editor. And now we just want to scroll down a little bit and take a little bit of extra time here. I want to point out something important here too if you ever want to link these images up. So first off though, let's give it a title. Let's give it some alternate text. And then let's also give it a little caption there down at the bottom. So Teeter Hangups EP550 inversion table. Leave this file path in there for now. Because if you click none, later on when you add your affiliate link, it's still going to think none. I don't know if this is a little buggy thing or not, but just leave it. Don't touch that for now. And then if you get down the page a little bit, you can see that it gives you some options for sizing. So it'll actually shrink the image for you down to a thumbnail, or you can go medium, or you can go large, or you can go full size. In the product reviews, I like to keep the images around 500 pixels in width. And they don't give me that option here. And I actually edit my images quickly in Snagit. I just make them 500 by 500 or 525 by 525. But if you don't have it and you want a little quick workaround, you can just click on the large there, go with the 1024 by 1024, and then all you need to do is, there it is there. Click on Use as Feature Image first off, so click on that, then that little link will disappear, and then you can click on Insert into Post. Alright, so there you go. So just to recap, we just changed the name, or added the title, the alt tag, and the caption. We've left the link URL, and I did end up clicking that, so it doesn't look like I did there, but I did. And then we can insert it into post. And now it's pulled in the image directly into the post. But you can see it's way too big in there. So because we left it at the 1024 by 1024, so there it's in there now. So if we scroll over in the box here to the top right-hand corner up in this area here, you'll see that there's a little image editing icon there. So you can click on that, and then, all right, so we've got it on the page. Now all we need to do is resize it. So we can come in here now, and we can say, okay, let's justify this image to the left, and let's reduce it down to 60% of that 1024, which is getting a little closer to that 500 mark. It's not quite there, because afterwards you can come in again and reduce it a little more if you'd like, so you can kind of play with it a bit. All right, so once that's done, we can simply click on the update link. We can then move over to advanced settings just for a quick second, because I like to put a little border around some images. So I just added the little one in there into the border box by the arrow. Now we can simply click on Update. Now you can see the image has been reduced in size. And you can't break this in here. So if you're a little bit uncomfortable in here, don't worry about it. You can always, just a little bit of practice, you'll get really good and quick at this. It's really a quick process once you've done it a few times. All right, and by the time you get them all on your site, you'll be a pro, let me tell you. All right, so there it is there. Now we want to just flip over to the HTML a little bit for just a second, because I want to just kind of move it over. And you can see where that arrow is. See where that little H2 tag starts right at the beginning, right after that square closed bracket box. It's probably a little small for you there. I just like to snug that H2 tag up there, so you'll find that it might not be there, so just backspace it once and then it will be. If you don't, it doesn't make any big deal. It just kind of tightens it up just a little bit more. Then we can click on Update. Then we can click on the View Post and go back out to the site, and there is the actual image itself sitting right in the page. You can see it's nice and big, and it's got the border around it, and it looks pretty good. I was kind of happy with it, but I felt it was actually a little bit too big. I like big, but this is a little too big. So, and I wasn't quite sure about that border anymore once I saw it. So then I could just go back in, turn that border off, shrink it up a little bit, maybe reduce it in size by another 20%, and boom, now you've got it. What I ended up with after I was done was a little bit different, which I'll show you in a minute. But you can now see that also showed up on your home page there. So we're starting to see the home page come to life. So now the little image is sitting there, Inversion Therapy for Back Pain, with a nice little image sitting beside it. And you can see there it is again. But once I was finished with it, and after I'd gone back in and done a little bit of playing around with it, I decided to move it down one paragraph space, reduce its size a little bit more, and I ended up taking out that border. So you'll want to do this with your images. You want to take the time to play around with them until you get them to look just right. And I can monkey around with them for a little bit sometimes just to get the right look. So feel free to do the same, and it's real easy again. All you need to do is get back in there, click on that little button there, get into the area here, and you can reduce it in size. You can click on the advanced settings at the top here and reduce it, or take out that border if you'd like, or make it a little thicker border, whatever you'd like. So once you're done all that, you can then just click the update button again and then update the page, and it'll all be finished for you. It'll be looking real nice, as you can see there. If I was to mouse over it, if we were actually live on the site, if we moused over that, you'd see the little alt tag pop up. It'll say the primary keyword phrase there, the teeter hangups inversion table review. And then down at the bottom, we've got what it is, the teeter hangups inversion table. And then I also went around and I found some additional images. Because the U.S. Army uses it, I give it a little credibility. And there's one of the commanding officers talking about it, so I thought that would bring some attention to it. Of course, there's the video, and then down the bottom of the page a little bit, there's that larger version of that other image that I found on the merchant site, which was just what I felt too small. And I found a larger version of it, and I ended up adding it there. So that's the page. Turned out, I feel, real well. We don't have any anchor text links in here off to the merchant yet or anything like that. We'll do that in the next session, but that's starting to shape up rather nicely. All right, so you need to do that for both of your reviews. Go find your images, and again, you can change these at any time, so don't worry about it. You can't really mess it up because you can always delete them, put them back, rearrange them, try justify left, justify right. I like to stagger them down the page, left, right, down the side, or down the page. Sounds like the military. But so there's one to the left, there's an image to the right, there's another image to the left, and another image to the right. So you can stagger it down the page a little bit. Helps to break it up. Also makes it a little easier to read. And you'll notice that on these pages, because there is no right-hand column, there's nothing to distract them as they're reading your review, which is key in conversion rate. Somebody had just sent out an email, or sorry, a Twitter post a couple days ago with a great article on how much money your columns can typically cost you by loading up too many columns, or don't be shy to turn them off. All right, so next, the how-to guides and the blog posts. So a picture, again, is worth 1,000 words. Paul says, what again is the name of that dummies tool? Snagit, S-N-A-G-I-T, Snagit. And John says, if it's not a product review, should we leave the link there? Depends if you want to link. You only leave the link there if you want to link the image with an affiliate link later. Okay, so if you want to link it to your merchant directly, let's say in this particular case, we've got this image here. I'd like to link this image to the actual merchant later once we get into joining the affiliate program and we have the link. So yes, I would leave it here. With this one here, with the U.S. Army, I would not, because we're not going to be linking to the U.S. Army. All right. Okay, so now same with the how-to guides and the blog posts. We want to work in one of these now, get down the page a little bit, and maybe work on getting a little image next to each one of these how-to guides and the blog. So you'll notice too, though, we talked about coming up with a great name for the blog, and as I was working on this over the last couple of days, it kind of dawned on me. A great name for a backsite blog could be Backtalk, and that's what we named the blog. So the blog is no longer the blog, it's now, well, it's the Backtalk blog. All right, so there it is. So now images. Where are we going to get some images? I think we talked about it in the last session, a little website called PhotoDune, which I really like this site. And if you happen to be listening to this as a recording and want to include my affiliate link, just go to photodune360.com, photodune360.com. That'll take us through, take you through to the site with our affiliate link embedded. If you prefer to just go direct, you can go to photodune.net, and you can see it's a great-looking little website. And in this particular case, we want to find some images for an article about a stiff neck. So we can just simply click in the phrase neck in that field above, and of course all the images come up that have to do with neck. So you can see there's 101 pages of them, and I think there's probably 20 or 30 at least per page. And now it's just a matter of kind of drilling your way through them, having a look at them all, seeing which one you like. I personally stay away from, it's just my preference, you may have another preference, but I like to stay away from the images that have no background. I like to get a little background in there as well, like these types of images here, where you actually have a background to them versus the white, just my personal preference. You can see there's one there that could be potentially a good image for you. One thing to keep in mind, if you don't have a photo editor like Snagit, where you can resize or reshape these images, you're going to need to stick with images that are a little bit more in the this type of size, because if the WordPress site automatically creates your thumbnail in a square, so if we were to use this one, it would actually cut her head off, or a part of her head off, and you wouldn't get the effect. So if we use an image that's basically this size, it's perfectly, you really want the main portion of the image, or the subject in the image, in this case the gentleman with the stiff neck here, to be in the middle of the shot. So if this image above actually had her more centered down a little bit, where it was centered, then we could use it without editing it. Of course, if you've got an editor, you can edit it into a little square, no problem at all, and use it that way. But if not, pick one of these types, because you don't need to do any editing, and you're good to go. So, and I also like to match up a little bit of the colors. Some of the images I want to get colors that match the theme a little bit, and we know this theme that we're working on here has got a little bit of blue in it. It's got a nice little blue background to it. So with this image, you've got, there's kind of a nice little match there. So I like it. I'll simply click on the little extra small link, because we're going to pay $1 for this. And then I'm going to click on Purchase, and that'll drop down a little box there. I can now buy with prepaid credit. So you can either, pay right now with PayPal or Visa, MasterCard, or you can come in and put in, 20, 30 bucks in here, so it's always sitting in there. So I always put something in there because I'm in here quite often. So I've already got credits in there, so I'll just simply click on that little link there, and then it'll take me through to the buy page, and now I've bought it. So it's literally, as soon as you click that button, you own it. It gives you a little pop-up box first, which I don't show, but then it'll bring it in. Then there's the image. And there's a good example of the lady's head getting cut off, by the way, right there. That's the problem with using those types of images. And I could have edited it easily, but I figured for another buck, we'll just buy one that is a little easier for you to use. All right, so save link as, back into Peter's folder here. So there it goes. Click on open then. And now we can upload it into the system here. And we've got it. So in our particular case, I think I've got a little bit of a mix-up here. So this should say save. We'd be saving it into Peter's folder there. So now it would be saved. There it is, and we have it on the in Peter's folder here. So now when we want to come and add this image to the actual web page, that stiff neck web page, we just simply go into that page, and let me just find another screenshot for you here. Right down at the bottom here, and I'm sorry I don't have the right screenshot for you here, but right down in this area here, there's a little feature image link down in the very bottom right there. You simply click on that little feature image link. You can see we're on the Stiff Necks Remedies page. The little box will pop up. Then you can select the image, and that'll pull it in, and now you can simply click on save, or in this particular case, we want to click on this link here, use as feature image. So click on that right there, click on use as feature image. Then we can come up to the top of the site, hit update, click on view post, and then there's we haven't inserted an image onto this page. We're setting up the feature image, which is now, as you can see, sitting right there next to the little snippet there. So that looks really good, I think. And then I just went ahead and I did the same process 5 more times to get all 5 of them there as well. In addition, I've also added in some other images here within some of the reviews. I haven't added them onto the whole site yet, but I'm starting to work on that now. And again, I'm using photodoom.net. And you can see an image can really help to offset the article, and it can really bring it to life here. 6 superfoods that silence pain, and what you should avoid. Nice little image there. Scroll down a little bit, and now she shows up. So there's 1, 2, and then I just continued on, and we ended up filling it all up. And you'll see just in a moment here that we have all the images now on the home page of the website. So now baby step number 12, once you have all your images set up, is next what we want to do is now configure those plugins. We want to configure the plugins, and you'll find that this is relatively simple to do as well. So with the plugins, of course, you had your tech install them, I would presume. And now there's just a few little things to finish up. He would have taken care of it, he or she would have taken care of most of it. But there's a few things in here that you'll want to take care of yourself. And of course, we want to make sure, number one, we have Google Analytics connected to your WordPress website so we can start to track. And as we get into the backlinks workshop, we're going to definitely want to make sure we have our visitor activity being tracked within the Google Analytics system. And very simple to do. Again, back to the dashboard. And we can just simply mouse over the settings link in the bottom of that left-hand column, and then a little drop-down will show up, and you can see it says Google Analytics Dashboard. Then all you need to do is once you land on that, you'll see a little button there that says Start the Login Process. If you happen to be already logged into Gmail or Google Documents or any of your Google services, you'll simply click on that button and then just click Authorize and you're done. If not, you're going to need to enter in your Gmail or your Google account username and password and then click Authorize and you're done. So this is like a 2-second job and that'll be finished up for you. Jetpack is a nice little plugin that we also had installed, or I think it comes inherent in WordPress now. It's actually created by the gang over at WordPress. So you will see a little link right across the top of your website, and you can just click on that little green button that says Connect to WordPress. And if you don't have a WordPress.com account, you can just click on that little blue link. It'll take you 2 minutes to sign up for one. Just simply fill out the information requested, and then you can add in your username and password, and then click on the authorized Jetpack link, and now that's finished. So again, another just a couple minutes to do that. ShareXy, I think that's how you say it. I don't really know. ShareXY, ShareXy, something like that. Be Sociable, these are your social media buttons. We want to get these installed, and I like these. I think these look really good. These are the ones that you've been seeing maybe down at the bottom of these pages. And I just want to tune this up a little bit so it looks a little nicer, and I want to center that and add a few more. So this is a great little free plugin that's probably already been installed if you had that plugin list installed. So again, mouse over the little settings tab, bottom left, and you can see, click on the little ShareXy link there. Brings you into their little dashboard. And if we scroll down just a bit, you can see I'm under the topic here of, right in this area here, we are down bottom left, display buttons at the bottom of the posts. So that's in this area here. So we want the buttons at the bottom of the posts. So we can now just simply add to them. So to add to them, we just simply click on the ones we want from the menu provided. So you want the usuals that are kind of defaulted there: Facebook, Twitter, StumbleUpon, LinkedIn. But then you'll also want to add in maybe Delicious and Dig and Google Plus for sure, and the new Pinterest social networking site that seems to be coming on pretty strong. So that'll build out your menu there. All right, so then scroll right to the bottom of this page, and there's another one here called Display Floating Widget, and you can see there it is sitting there. So again, you just add to it till you have all the ones that you want. And then once you're done, you scroll down to the very bottom, click on the Save Settings button down at the bottom, and now you can go out to the website, and you'll see them over to the left there. I like them because they're so nice and neat and tidy. I've seen so many social media plugin sets that are all different sizes, and they don't format properly, and they don't position themselves on the page properly, whereas with these ones you can see over to the right, or sorry, over to the left there, really nice and attractive. You can't miss them, and they look really, really good. If we head over to maybe the review page and then scroll down, get down to the bottom here, you can see there they are again. So now I censored them. Instead of justifying to the right, they look really good. I'm very happy with them, and now there's no way that they can miss them. You also have the opportunity to add them to the top of the page if you'd like as well, the littler ones. So just go through their settings area, very simple to use, and now anybody that comes to this page can share this content with their Facebook friends and their Twitter followers, and they can stumble upon it and dig it, Google Plus it, and Pinterest it, and so there's lots of tools here for them to share it. And if they have other networks that they would like to share it with, they can simply click on that little orange link there. You can see to the far right, and now it opens up to all of them that are supported by this tool. So great little plugin. So get that activated, and now you'll have the first wave of social media buttons on your site. Moving on to baby step number 3 is time to now configure your widgets. And you can see here, we click on the left-hand column over there, and mouse over appearance, click on widgets. And this is one of those things that you sometimes scratch your head, like, where is the tools that I need to adjust some things? And it's usually in the widgets area. So widgets are just basically placeholders for additional content that you can add to your pages, and so you can position things. So for example, there's the primary sidebar there, and you can see here over just below it there that we've got the enhanced posts 1 and 2 and 3, and then we've got the custom terms of service menu. This is your right-hand column. This is what you're seeing here. Reviews, HowTo Guides, blog, and then if I scroll down a little bit more, there'd be your terms of service. Where you adjust all that is in the primary sidebar area here. So just keep in mind, if you can't find anything or you can't find something, go look in the widgets, because it's more than likely in there. And same goes for the home page. If we want to tune up the home page a little bit, once it's all put together, you've got lots of features and functionality here where you can justify that image over to the right if you'd like, or maybe you want to have the image sitting above the headline, or maybe you want a larger image. This in the widgets area is where you can do that, and for everything here, same with the back talk and the how-to guides, all of this is adjustable. You can put larger widgets in, larger images in. You can justify the images to the right instead of the left. You can put them above the headline instead of justified left, and so on. So in the widgets area, again, you can get into it by clicking on Appearance and then Widgets, and then you'll see over here you've got top, middle, left, and right. And take some time to play around in here, because you probably have a little tuning up that needs to be done for your home page, and this is where it is. So here's the top. We're not using middle currently, but we're using top, left, and right. Okay, so top, left, and right. We get back into the widgets area here, top, left, and right. So now if we open that up in this area here, let's say we open up home top, which of course is this right here. Now we can make some adjustments in this area. So home top, open it up, you can see there's a little drop down that appears. Just simply open that up. Now you can give it a title, Featured Reviews. That's where this title comes from, Featured Reviews. We've got the category that's going to be, when we added the reviews to the site, we selected the category Reviews. That's how it knows to put the reviews there. How many posts do you want to show on the home page? I have it set to 3. You can set it to whatever you'd like. Down to the bottom here, do we want to show the featured image? Yep. Let's make it 150 by 150, which is that image size right there. So that's looking good, but you can make it a different size. And let's align it to the left so that it sits right to the left of the content. Again, if you want to go right or above, you can. Show post title, you want to make sure you selected that to the check mark. Some of this might already be done for you, if not all of it, depending on how on the ball your coder was. You can change the text here, the read more text, and I'd suggest activating this one, show category archive list for more reviews, which are these two things here. The read more and then more reviews over to the left. But just go on and play around with it till you're comfortable and you've got a look that you like. And you can do the same thing for the bottom area, which are exactly the same, the home left and the home right, if you want to adjust this information down at the bottom here. So pretty simple stuff, and to really kind of tune it up and make it look great. Email subscribers is another thing you can quickly set up in here if you'd like. Of course, we're going to do a whole session on developing an opt-in offer, and we're going to be talking about Aweber, and possibly some of you may find Aweber a little bit more suitable, but others may find this to be just fine. Because Aweber's, I think it's $20 a month, and then there's some usage on top of that. But to start off, it's $20 a month. And we want to set up a little newsletter area up in here. And this is, again, one of the free plugins that have been installed on your website. And the way this works is, and of course we don't have any offer here yet. We don't have the why you should subscribe here. This we're going to cover in the next course when we get into the opt-in offers and creating a newsletter and a killer, opt-in offer. So we'll really tune that up. But for now, you might as well get this set up, because what will happen here is every time you add a new post, a new backtalk post, or a new how-to guide, or a new review, all of your subscribers will instantly and automatically receive a little email alert with a link back to your review or to the page. So real simple to set up. Again, we're in the widgets area, and just have a look for the little widget here that says blog subscriptions Jetpack, and just drag it over into the primary sidebar at the top. And literally, that's all you have to do. Just drag it over. So now it's sitting there. It opens up. You can modify the text if you'd like, and you can change the name of the, what they say on the button, and you can add some optional text in there if you'd like. You can decide to show the number of subscribers or not, and click Save. And then once you've done that, automatically it's set up, and that's all you need to do to get that functioning. And you might as well do that if you don't have Aweber, or you don't know how to use that yet, because you may be just comfortable with this forever. This is a great little plugin to keep your visitors coming back. And of course, developing an email newsletter or an email list is very, very important, and there's some great ways to automate the process and to do it properly, and we'll cover that when we get into the course on that. All right, so now if we go back to the actual site, you can see we've added in all of the images, and it's starting to look pretty darn nice. It's starting to look like a completed website here. We've got all the little thumbnails down there. Those are 70 by 70. That's what we selected for those sizes. I decided to keep them justified left. I thought that looked good. I like the way these reviews played out. Those look very, very nice as well. So I think that home page is really tuned up well. Another thing I did for Peter, because this is a back pain site, I wanted to put a little medical disclaimer on here saying we're not doctors and this is not to be taken as medical advice. So I put for you on there, Peter, a little medical disclaimer that I think was probably a good idea. And there are the other ones there under terms of service, so that's looking good. And then internally, I added some other images as well from the PhotoDune website, which also look great. You can see there are the little icons to the right, right there. I just did a search, Milica, for medical disclaimer template, and I think it was the #1 listing in the Google results. All right, so there's the little icons. You can see a nice little family, smiling faces here. Prevention versus treatment, how to promote back health in children. And I think a very appropriate little photo. Matches the color of the site very nicely. It's got a little bit of blues, some whites in there, and it looks great. All right, and there they are sitting there. So the site really is, getting really close to wrapping up. Another little image you saw earlier: 6 superfoods that silence pain and what you should avoid. So take your time picking out your images. Make sure everything's nice and neat and tidy. Of course, you can fast forward and rewind this video anytime if you want me to go through it for you again. You'll find, I think, this is all pretty simple stuff, though. I would guesstimate for you to put all of this together, if you've got all your content and you've got your website, WordPress, all set up and everything's ready to roll, and you're reasonably quick at cutting and pasting and moving around the keyboard, you can do all of this in a few hours. And if that's, or maybe break it into a couple of sessions, and you should have it done. Again, an emphasis on quality and making sure you're using everything right. That was a great question from Chris earlier on the more tag. Where do you find the more tag? And I don't know if I have a WYSIWYG editor, but it's right in the WYSIWYG editor, right in the editor where you add the actual content itself. And what that allows you to do, when you click on the how-to guides or the reviews or the blog, you're going to find that if you don't use the more tag, you're going to see the whole article there. Whereas it would be nice just to see a little snippet of it and then read more. And you do that by opening up the page, in the editor, and you go into the end of the first paragraph, and you click on your cursor, and you click on the little more tag, and now that'll break it there, so that when you're looking through the blog or the reviews or the how-to guide, that you will only see that first paragraph instead of article after article after article. And you should do that, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of duplicate content on your pages or on your site. All right, so step number 7, building a winning website. We logged into Elance, we downloaded the projects, we got comfortable in logging into the WordPress dashboard, we uploaded the header, we got the master site plan and the optimization worksheets out. We set up our pages, our product reviews, our how-to guides, and our blog posts. We added some images, and we configured the plugins and the widgets. Once you have added your website graphics, set up your website pages, and completed the configuration of WordPress, you are then ready for the next step. And the next step will simply be the joining of the affiliate program, getting in contact with the affiliate manager, doing some little tweaks and tune-ups on the website, getting the affiliate links embedded, possibly ordering an image or two to help help the click stand out a little bit. You'll see what I mean by that in the next session, and then you'll be pretty much good to go. So the homework for this session is to simply complete all of the baby steps that are outlined, all 1 through 13, and then I think you'll be very happy and satisfied to see your site come to life. I know it's a lot of fun to actually see them come to fruition. And then, of course, in the next session, we're going to get into the affiliate and adding the pay codes, as we call them, and then your site will be ready for promotion, which we'll do in the backlinks workshop. All right, so there's been some questions coming in, and I think we've answered most of them. I don't think we missed any of them as we went. But if you have any other questions, of course, you're welcome to ask them now. And you can... what do you think of the site? So what do you think of the completed site? I think we've gone from beginning to end on it. I think I'll bring it up in the site here. I think it actually turned out very nice. And of course, when you're getting started and you're working through and you're just filling out paperwork, of course, it takes a while to kind of see the end product if you've never done it before. There it is, actually live. John says, I agree with Alice. A very beautiful site. Sean says, looks great. Chris says, looks awesome. Looks professional. I like it. Good-looking site, says Beth. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me click on maybe the how-to guides here. You can see when you set those feature images, they also add them in here. So when they're scrolling through the categories for how-to guides or reviews or blogs, they all show up in here. Carol says very, very professional. Jose says very, very nice. Well, a nice clean column over to the right if you want to scroll down a little bit. And you can see the social media icons there in the left-hand side. They don't move. We go into maybe one of the posts here. You can see we've got, there's the social media buttons just popped. And we get down to the bottom. There they are. We've left the, I've actually got the bottom so they just shake a little bit just to gather their attention a little bit. And then we've got, there's the tags. And then down at the very bottom, you'll probably have to scroll with me here. You've got the area where they can leave the comments. So for those of you who may be not quite at this point yet in the training, keep going. You'll get it. You'll get it done. Of course, any questions that come up, by all means, post it. And focus on the attention to the details. Don't rush it. Take your time. If you need to take a break, by all means, take a break and step away from it sometimes. And sometimes if you get stuck in a technical problem, don't forget the 15-minute rule. If you can't fix it in 15 minutes or less, take the next 15 minutes to post a project at Elance, and that's somebody who's trained up on that. Take care of that for you, and while they're working on that problem, you can be, fixing, you're working on something else while they're taking care of the frustrating thing. All right, so the next session we're going to get together. We won't be, so the next session we're going to cover the affiliate program end of it and getting the site monetized. We have the site up. Now we need to make sure the links go into these pages right. And where they're placed and how they're placed, and maybe a little bit of graphics need to be created to help them really stand out, to move the visitor from the page to the merchant so they can make the purchase so you can earn the commission. That's what we're going to cover in the next one. Plus, there's a few little things that we're going to tune up as well in that session. But for all intents and purposes, the site is almost ready to put a bow on it. We'll actually be finishing it off today. The little things that we need to do to kind of finish it up. There's a few more images I want to add into the bottom of one of the reviews and a couple other little odds and ends, and I need to give my editor a chance to go through it all. Otherwise, this one's a wrap. So, and I can't wait to see a lot of yours coming out. Jose says, is the Backlinks Workshop a part of this boot camp, or is it a separate thing? It's not really part of the boot camp, but it's definitely the next course, and there's no additional costs for it. If you just stay on as a private member at the $47 a month, we're just going to move right into the Backlinks Workshop. It's going to probably be 10 weeks where we just focus on, now that the site's built, we'll put it aside. Other than we're going to get some content flowing into it, but other than that, we're going to let it sit aside, and then we're going to spend 10 weeks on traffic building and just starting to get the backlinks in and the social media firing and get everything kind of working, and maybe a little bit of YouTube and some Twitter for sure, and really start building some traffic to lay the foundation, for a successful website. Also, we're going to be doing a course that's also no extra charge for private members on building your opt-in list, which is going to be very important because it's one thing to get them to the website. We want to actually get them on the list and keep them coming back to the website. That's where you make your real money. And the way to do that is with a really, really powerful opt-in offer. And I've actually never dedicated a whole course to it. It's usually been just a couple of sessions in the boot camp, but we need to spend more time on this. So we're going to do a whole course on just creating the opt-in offer, which I think you're going to find is going to be very powerful in your business. All right, Robert says, how about podcasts or webinars? I've actually got a plan to do a podcasting course as well, and I'm not adverse to doing a course on doing webinars either. Goodness knows I've done over 500 of them, so we kind of got this down a little bit. Other than today and loading a presentation that was a little larger than it possibly should have been, but I think, cross your fingers, everybody cross your fingers, that we got it all and we should be good to go. All right, so I think we're pretty good. Let's call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me for session number 12. We'll see you in the next session, which will be monetizing your website, which will be session number 13, which will be coming up. Of course, for those of you who are joining me live, there are no sessions next week because we're heading off to Affiliate Summit and the Share a Sale Think Tank in Austin, Texas, which will be fun. So we'll pick it up 2 weeks from now for the Tuesday gang, Tuesday night, and for the Saturday gang here, of course, 2 Saturdays from today. If you're listening to this as a recording, of course, it's already all ready for you. And again, join us in the chat forum and join us for the live Q&A. All right, everyone, thank you so much. As usual, it's always been a pleasure meeting with the Saturday crowd, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.